Hello, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can get the product videos, which if you go to the YouTube channel and you go to playlists, now I've set up product playlists, and the free playlist is where all the stuff that's just on the channel page right now can be found. I may start adding some new videos that would be about some of the paid products, but I'm going to specify that they're like a product demonstration or like a product tutorial, and other stuff will be more specified that it's free. And this way it'll be a little easier on the main channel page and sorting through by playlists and searching to find specific videos that you know are about either a product or something free that I'm just sharing and teaching. Now, the old stuff that's really what is mostly on the channel now is a lot of these older videos. That was how I got into this thing where I really, what I wanted to share first was just the stuff that I was working on with color separations and color space things, and sharing what I had done in a lot of the separation programming work. And so this Max Chroma HSB color layers free action for Adobe Photoshop was the first video. What I want to do is now get back to the origins of this stuff and start showing we can do this for free even without Photoshop. And we can just program things directly like our own apps to do it. And that's what I'm doing, is going through and sort of making everything not just Photoshop actions or plugins, but software that is standalone. Or it's like a browser web app that you open up in any web browser. And it's kind of nice because it's cross-platform, works on a Mac or PC or even mobile very easily. And so what we've got on the main website here, if you're on the channel, you can click this max-chroma.com, or you can just go right into it in the URL. And on this site, I've had this here for a little while, but I don't think I really went into showing it yet. But one of the first things I started programming was just making something we could split and do the basic hue, chroma, white, and black, and get the channels out of an image. And if we look at it this way, it's like this is a test image I created to sort of teach and show what looking at an image would be like when we're seeing the, it's kind of to understand color digitally as not just like RGB mixtures, but a mixture maybe of hue, angle, the chroma, and the white and black amount, right? There's some other things which I need to maybe just find like a basic image to work with that would work for it. But we'll show not just a test image, right? But on this site, if you click on Max Chroma HCWB Splitter, this just opens up this other file, this web page, and you can download and save this web page. So you click right here and you'd go to save page as. I could just go to downloads and hit save. And then if I go to the downloads folder, it's just this HTML web page. And everything in this web page, you can open it up in like a program like VS Code. And it's all just one inline set of code that does basically your HTML parts, the CSS styling parts, and the script functions, things that are like for running the image processing stuff. I'm not going to get into all that in this video because that'll be saved for the video where I actually show how to build the app. But this one's already here to use, so I'm showing you. You could just go choose file. We'll load in this test image for now, and I'll show you first with the test image what this is doing to the image with each of these buttons. And so the first thing is, like this old video about the HSB or the hue, or this one with the HCWB, hue, chroma, white, and black layers, like this one, how to create the HCWB layers. This app can now, and when you downloaded it, let me just show you, it doesn't have to run off of the web app anymore. So let me close that here and double click it from where I downloaded it. Now it's just running off of my system. So it's really running offline. And that's the cool thing about these little web apps is they use the browser. You don't even have to be connected to the internet or anything. And if it's designed the right way, it all runs self-contained like this. And so I can choose file, load that image. If I click on hue, it changes everything in the image to basically reveal all of the colors that were underneath the shades or the tones. And you see anything that was neutral became just like a threshold white and black. Let me reset that and show you. Okay, but stuff that was really gray or faded out, like you can see in each of these, is like kind of like a cylinder showing you it's like slices of the cylinder at different levels of gray, but sort of showing you from white, all the hues fading to white. Here's all the hues fading to black, and then it's like dark gray, medium gray, light gray. And that would be like the chroma at each level. And so this one just shows you like one red gradient chroma to gray. But really, when red fades to white or gray or black, anything neutral, that's the chroma fading out. And if I show you that right here, click on it, you'll see as a separation or a gradient or what you call like a channel, this is the chroma channel of this image. And because I designed the image this way, it shows up very easy to understand, right? Let me do reset back to the original image. So when we do hue, we're looking at the entire hue channel of the image in full color without any of this tinting or shading or gray. It's not toning out. It's not going towards neutral anymore. And it only has to stop, and basically there is no color value when something's totally neutral. So if I click hue, there should not really be a hue there. In some ways that you divide up like hue, saturation, brightness, or other color models, it'll leave like a hue there just because it reads as 0, but it becomes like 0 degrees hue. But you really should just make that forced to like white or black or some sort of other color. And in this case, I just thresholded it that way. But you can see that the image contains color all the way down into those grayest areas, except for where it's essentially just the grayest, right? Clicking hue, you can see that. It reveals it really far in. And so I should pull up another image to show this with. That way it makes a little bit more sense. Let me just get something basic. This would be a cool one. Let's do choose file. This image right here. So it's just like some bell peppers at a store. And we've got green peppers, yellow peppers, red. If we click hue, we should see greens, yellows, and reds there, right? And there you see. But it's revealed it in a way that anything that was a shade, let me reset it, anything that was dark, like only the things that were perfectly neutral gray would become black or white. And so these highlights become white. Some of those shadows become black. Maybe in this gray area it becomes black and white, but mostly everywhere else we click hue and it's going to reveal the colors, even into the weird like glares and stuff, right? Reset that. Like, why do we see these blues? This would be really interesting way that you see, looking at an image under just the hue, we can see how some of the reflections are changing colors. There's like a bluish tint to the lights that are reflecting off of these. So when we press hue, you can see that bluish hue to even where the highlight was on the green peppers. And another interesting thing is how like colors like red, orange, yellow will show some of the shading. Let's reset it again, because that's what sort of happens when light bounces around off of a lot of objects. It'll change its hue and shift a bit, or sometimes the peppers themselves have like a change of orangish color to yellow. But even like a yellow object that's painted solid yellow, you might have reflections at times where the light bends off it. It gets caught in the shadows a lot more here and becomes redder, becomes more orange. So we click on hue and you can see that stuff. Let's reset it and now look at chroma. And chroma, we would be seeing it the darkest where it's the most intense. So reset and we'd be like, yeah, the yellow is got the brightest chroma of the hues in the image, and some of these ones are not really at the most intense point. We can do chroma and color, and we basically removed all of the shading, and it all fades out to like a white there. But let's look at the other image again, the test image, to go through these, chroma and color, and that's what you're seeing. So what I do is I build these test images, and then I can program stuff and find out how to like extract things in a certain way, and then it works for other images. That'll do it based on the correct channel being extracted. So we can now look at white, and we'll see a white gradient separation, but it puts black where the whiteness is and fades it out to white. These are what you'd call positives. Reset it. Here's black, gray, This underbase one sort of does it based on like a screen printing setup. You'd put white under all the colors and the white. And then red, yellow, I'm hitting reset, green, cyan, blue, and magenta. So it does all the colors around the wheel. And then these other things like invert the image or remove transparency. There's no transparency in this image. But at each of those separations, so I could open this image, click red, and do save current image, and then I'm going to have that separation saved. So let's try it out with that other image, the peppers here. Open the peppers. We can look at the black, which would be like all the shading. We could save that. We could reset. We could do red. Save that. And you'll see some of the red goes in here because it's going to mix with the pure bright yellow to make the more golden yellow colors. Reset. Let's go to yellow. Save current image. Reset. Green. And that's where you'd print a really bright green, and then it mixes with the black to make the shaded green. That's really what's in there. It's not a super bright green. Save current image. So reset to make those shades. And you don't have to use, if you're doing a print, the cyans and the blue, magenta maybe, but they would be present usually in most images. Even if it looks like, well, there's just red, yellow, green there, we click cyan, you'll see that's that mixing in with the highlights, right? And maybe that green color was a little bit more towards the cyan green, but I think it's mostly where the light was reflecting off of it. Blue will just capture a little bit of those highlights. Magenta might have some up here, right? If we do the white, that's where you see all the highlights. So you could save that too. And each of these would be like separations, like a simulated process type of separation from the image. It's all just the image converted to those exact channels of color based on that color model, that hue, chroma, white and black HCWB model. And that's essentially just a derivative of the HWB model. So that's what I wanted to show in this video, was just a basic rundown of some of the updates to the channel, how I'm getting back to the origins of it and showing how we're now going to do all this stuff without Photoshop. We're going to write it from scratch, and we're going to do applications on our own, and I'm going to show you how to make that. So this video is just going over the fact that it's already there, the Max Chroma HCWB splitter on my website, and how you can download that, run it on its own. You can open the file, look at the code. We're going to go in and recreate the whole thing again in videos and tutorials. And we're going to do that with a lot of the other actions and things that I put out over the years, and get to the point where we're up to speed on all this new software stuff. Let me open up another test image here. Something that makes sense. Right here, this thing, okay. Let's do choose file. There we go. And so you could open any image because it runs based off of that linear conversion of the image into these color channels. And you can now extract it into the different channels. So you can look at the hue. That's its own thing. It's really interesting when you open images and reveal the hue, because you're going to see down into the most neutral colors, all this color, right? And you'd say, wait, that looks really insane. Where's all that color coming from? And even in that neutral gray background, it essentially has noise. It's got either saved as a JPEG or other things that it wasn't, perfectly photographed or perfectly set up as just neutral gray. And so it'll detect all this noise. And then what was even happening is it's kind of got a cooler gray here fading out to a warmer gray. And I think that's what it was. Click hue. Yeah. So you got blues that then turn gradient into these oranges out here. So you see really interesting stuff when you reveal it completely. If you just do the chroma and color, you'll see a more softer version of where the strongest colors are. Fading out into anything that was black or gray or white just becomes like white. And we can look at the white gradient, black gradient. Gray would be separate from the white and black. The white and black are not set to be used with that gray specifically, but we'll look at that whole thing and how it works in some other videos. And we've got the red. And so basically you mix this red and this yellow at that certain amount, and you'll end up with the colors, this orange color that they're making. Anyway, so I think that's it for this video. We'll go over more stuff in other videos. I don't want them to be too long, but I'm just showing you how this HCWB splitter thing is already there to use. And it's basically what we had in this original video of the HSB color layers free action for Photoshop, and this HCWB layers thing here. But we'll get into some other videos next about doing adjustments. And like I said, with the product videos and the free stuff, I just want to keep it a little bit more delineated, and I didn't want the channel to become just all about paid products, even though there's a lot of stuff that I got to show about some of those things, and there's some pretty cool things in those. But I want everyone to end up seeing that this project is about teaching how to get to that point, and even teaching how to make some of those paid products. So we'll start from scratch on some of the free stuff that's always been there in Photoshop, but we're going to redo it so it's not just in Photoshop. We're going to make our own applications, and it's not just something that I'm saying here's this free thing to get. It's also something you can build on your own and customize, and that's really what this project is about, is all this digital color stuff that I got into. You know, some of it's related to the professional side of things that I do with the screen printing and color separation programming, but a lot of it is also just really fascinating when you can look at the world this way with the digital color, whether it's photography or graphics for design, doing art, etc. It's just something that there isn't a lot out there about the HWB color model or this Chroma thing connected to the HWB version of it, and just how hue and all these other things work. When we dig into color this way, it's almost like we can program stuff on our own, and that's what I'm going to be sharing and teaching, is how it inspired me, and then what I do with that stuff, like the uses that I have for it. But then, you know, it's really just part of what I do all the time, is I dig into and try to learn and get into not just doing it, like I said, in Photoshop, but how to program it at the fundamental level. Like, what is this RGB color stuff? How does all that work when you're in this digital side of things? Like, what are we working with? And it's basically just data of, you know, math between like the values in the pixels, the RGB, red, green, blue values, and how it mixes to make colors. But then using these other color models, we can make more sense out of it, a little bit more intuitive way to think of color digitally, and it doesn't just have to be RGB mixing. And so when we do these other types of ways of looking at color, and then we program based on it, we can do stuff with images, and maybe there's some useful things there. But the heart of all this project is that you can find a lot of more uses than I might find for this stuff if you just have the knowledge and the tools to work with it. And I can't really, you know, come up with all the different ideas on how to apply it. And so some of these things are more meant to be shared and open source and fundamental, just, you know, another way of looking at it. And so thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want to get notifications of more videos. Hit like if you liked this video, leave a comment, ask me anything you want to know about stuff, and we're going to get into all these other things. You know, you can find now in the playlists the product demo type of videos. Some of them are unlisted right now, so they won't be on the main channel right away. But other ones I'll be putting on and uploading. And you can find stuff also, so you don't have to watch all the ads through YouTube. I'll be trying to put them and update this channel page on my website, maxchroma.com, max-chroma.com. Watch or download legacy videos, and I'll be updating this page with the thumbnails and making it so you can download them. Right now, I don't think it works if you just click download, but you can click to watch a video, and then click right here and do download, and it'll download that video for the future. So again, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one, and we'll take it from there.